Hi there, welcome back to my shop. Today's video is going to be a fairly short, quick and dirty one. It's because Fran asked me about the dust collection system, how it works, and I'm going to try explaining my dust collection system anyway, to hopefully give her some information. But before I get to that, I got a business card this week from a turner in the UK. His name is Nigel and he does beautiful work. He's only been turning for about 18 months and he does everything with carbide tools or scrapers. Now, in the past, I have said frequently that I don't really like scrapers. I use them when I need to, but they're not my choice. Maybe I need to do a little more practicing with them because he is doing beautiful work. Some of the pieces that you see floating around in here are his work. Nigel, thank you for sending the photos. And he also has an Esty site. So I'm going to put a link to that site in the description box below. And if you want to go and check out some of his other work, I hope you will. Now, as I said, today we're going to be looking at dust collection system. I'm not going to do a lot of work with lighting or anything else. It takes way too long and I'm way too lazy. So I hope you'll join me, take a look at how my dust collection system works, and maybe it'll give you some ideas as well on how things work. Let's go take a look. Well, like any dust collection system I've seen, it starts with a dust collector. Mine is a 3 horsepower unit, has 2 bags, and works very well. Will suck up a lot of dust, move a lot of air. Now down here, behind this plate, is an impeller, and that's what causes the vacuum and draws the air in. There are 3 ports that you can hook these 4-inch hoses up to. This one, I've got the hose wrapped around here, but I can take it out, move it around the shop, and I can take this 4-inch to 2-inch adapter, put it in there, tighten up the clamp, and then I can use whatever attachment I want to put on the end of this hose. In this case, I have a nozzle. I could change that to a brush if I want to, and suck up a lot of dust all over the place. Now, moving on from there, I built a box. And this second hose from the bottom comes into the side of the box. And when it's drawing in sawdust and whatever shavings, etc., sometimes it'll pick up some fairly large pieces of wood. And what happens is it will come in, and you can see some here, and it will be drawn in and held in this box rather than going into the machine and possibly damaging the impeller. All right, now the hose that's coming out of here is where everything's drawn in, and it splits off in 2 directions. This is what's called a blast gate. All right, these are both blast gates. You can get them in plastic, work all right, and you can get them in metal. Sometimes these are a little smoother acting. Now, when you have a 4-inch hose on each side, having it closed blocks all the dust and air from going through. When you open it up, of course, it can pass through. And that is pretty much all they're about. Although you can get some that work with a remote control. I haven't seen them, I've only read about them, and really they're not for me because I'm a hobbyist. I'm not in a rush, but if you're in a production shop of some kind, you might want some that you can hit a remote control, open the one you want, and then it would close all the others. Not for me, but I'm sure a lot of people like that. Every time you open up a blast gate, it reduces the pressure, so we want to keep them all closed except the one you're using. This particular blast gate isolates everything on this side so that if I'm using something on that side of the shop, there's not going to be any air drawn through here. I found this helps a lot more than just individual blast gates that are for each of the machines. Now, I'll start on this side. I've got 4-inch hose going to almost all of my machines. Be right back. Partially hidden back behind this hose is the remote control switch. I have the remote control here, and that switch, when I push this button, will turn on the dust collector. So I generally just put this in my pocket, and I can walk around, hit the button whenever I want it to turn on my dust collector. The first port along here comes to this blast gate and goes down to my jointer. So whenever I open that up and I'm making shavings, sawdust with my jointer, I open that up, it opens up the hose and sucks in the dust. And I've got enough hose on there, you can't see it, but I can drag this out about 8 feet so I can put a long board on there if I need to. This is one accessory I picked up. It's got a floor sweeper on it, and I put a couple pieces of wood on here to make this surface a little above the floor. Otherwise, it just wanted to always stick to the floor. But running that along, attaching it to that 2-inch hose, I can clean up the floor quite a bit. Basically because I'm too lazy to sweep if I don't have to. The next step along this comes down to a T, and then comes down on one side to a blast gate, and then to a reducer, taking it from 4-inch to another 2-inch hose. And that 2-inch hose goes over to the carousel where I have my disc sander and my spindle sander, and I can move it from one to the other when I'm using those. The next one goes down to a floor sweep, so I can open that up and then I can just sweep the dust on the floor into that, and it sucks it up to the dust collector. The next one goes down to a hose and around behind my table saw to another T, and one part of that hooks up to the table saw, the other one goes over to my miter saw. Next one over here comes to another T. One leg of that T comes over and goes to this disc and belt sander, and the other one goes to my band saw. Very handy to have these blast gates and hoses in here. The next thing you will see is that when that blast gate above the collection box is closed, it opens up the hose pipe combination vertically going up toward the ceiling. You can't see it, but at the ceiling there's an elbow, and then the pipe comes across the ceiling to another elbow, goes across here behind that air cleaner, and at that first T it drops down on this hose, and then I can connect that to either the drum sander where it is now, or the thickness planer, which is back behind that. When it's not in use, I just take it, hook it up onto this hook right there, and then it's out of my way. From that last T that I just showed you, it comes across to another elbow and then drops down to a blast gate, from there to a hose, which usually comes across here and is connected to my dust port that I use when I'm sanding on the lathe. All right, I hope that gave you the information you want, Fran, and I hope maybe it'll give some information to others who are thinking about dust collection systems. My dust collector is the best tool I ever bought, according to my wife, because dust used to get all over the house, and it still gets all over the shop, but that's just the way a workshop's supposed to be when you're doing woodworking. So, I hope you liked this. If you did, please click the like button, and if you didn't, click the dislike button. I'd like it a lot if you would share this with some others. Maybe somebody out there is looking for information on a dust collection system, and this would at least get them started. And if you haven't subscribed before, please do. Thank you so much to those who have. I really, really appreciate you a lot. So thank you for dropping by today. I hope you'll come back next time. Between now and then, have a great day in your shop and be safe. Take care now. Bye-bye.